Everybody, welcome back. These are the horror movies that we loved of 1956. You're watching Yesteryear, and today, I'm Tony. If you haven't already, click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's check out the horror movies that were scaring people back in 1956. First off, we have is Earth versus the Flying Saucers. Extraterrestrials traveling in high-tech flying saucers contact a scientist as part of a plan to enslave the inhabitants of Earth. This movie was exquisite, it was awesome, it's action, horror, and sci-fi. Earth versus the Flying Saucer. Forbidden Planet. A starship crew in the 23rd century goes to investigate the silence of a distant planet's colony, only to find just two survivors, a powerful robot, and the deadly secret of a lost civilization. Forbidden Planet is adventure, sci-fi, and horror, another classic. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, a classic movie of 1956. A 400-foot dinosaur-like beast awoken from the undersea hibernation off the Japanese coast by atomic bomb testing attacks Tokyo. Godzilla, King of the Monsters is a classic movie. Check it out. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, another true gem, horror movie, drama, and sci-fi. A small-town doctor learns that the population of his community is being replaced by emotionless alien duplicates. This movie was scary when it came out, and still kind of scary when you see it now. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, check it out. Moby Dick. The sole survivor of a lost whaling ship relates the tale of his captain's self-destructive obsession to hunt the white whale, Moby Dick. True classic. Before the shark, there was the whale, Moby Dick. Adventure, drama, and horror. Rodan. If you love Godzilla and King Kong, you're going to love Rodan. A mining engineer investigates the death of his fellow co-workers and discovers prehistoric nymphs emerging from the mines. So that is Rodan. Action, sci-fi, a classic. The Werewolf. Horror, sci-fi. In Mountain Crest, a stranger without memory arrives in a bar to have a drink. When he leaves the bar, a local tries to rob him, but he turns into an animal and kills the attacker. The Werewolf. This movie was good. Check it out. Horror and sci-fi. The Bad Seed. This movie is scary and evil. Rhoda Penmark seems like a young, average, sweet 8-year-old girl. When her rival at school dies in mysterious circumstances at the school's picnic, her mother starts to suspect that Rhoda was responsible. The Bad Seed. The Black Sheep. Sir Joel Cadman, a mad scientist, kidnaps his victims and cuts open their brains in an effort to discover a means to cure his wife's brain tumor. Again, mad scientist, trying to control people, taking out the brain. But it's a good movie. The Black Sheep. Francis and the Haunted House. Francis, the talking mule, witnesses a murder. He takes a bumbling reporter named David Prescott under his wing, and the two of them set out to solve the crime. Francis and the Haunted House. This is a comedy, family, fantasy, and horror movie. Check it out. Fright. A woman believes herself to be the reincarnated spirit of an ancient prince's lover. Meanwhile, a murderer turns out to be the reincarnated spirit of the prince himself. Fright. Film noir and horror. This movie is good. Kind of weird, but it's good. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The timeless tale of a seductive gypsy Esmeralda and the tortured hunchback Quasimodo. This movie is another adaptation of the original movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, however you want to say it, but this is the drama, romance, and horror. Indestructible Man. Charles the Butcher Benton, a brutal death row inmate, gets double-crossed by his crooked lawyer. He gets his chance for revenge when, after he's been executed, a bizarre experiment brings him back to life. Indestructible Man. Check it out. It Conquered the World. A well-meaning scientist guides an alien monster to Earth from Venus so that he can rid mankind of feelings and emotions, but only death and sorrow results. It Conquered the World. Horror and sci-fi. Next up we have is Man Beast. Connie Hayward mounts an expedition into the Himalayan mountains looking for her brother, who has not returned from a previous trek trying to locate the Yeti. But they encounter the Yeti, Man Beast. But who is the Man Beast? You have to find out. The Mole People. I remember watching The Mole People back in 1976. I loved it. A party of archaeologists discovered the remnants of mutant 5-millennial-old Sumerian civilization living beneath a glacier atop a mountain in Mesopotamia. The Mole People. Pretty scary. Adventure, fantasy, and horror. The Beast of Hollow Mountain. An American cowboy living in Mexico discovers his cattle are being eaten by a gigantic prehistoric dinosaur. The Beast of Hollow Mountain. This movie was terrifying of its time, and when you watched it in the 70s or 60s, it was scary. Next up we have is The Gamma People. An American reporter smells a story where he is stranded in an Iron Curtain country where the local dictator is using gamma rays to transform children into mutated henchmen. The Gamma People. This movie is not for the queasy, but it's pretty good. The She Creature. A mysterious hypnotist reverts his beautiful assistant back into the form of prehistoric sea monster that she was in past life. Aww. So here she is a woman, but now they're going to revert her back to a sea creature. The She Creature. Crime, fantasy, and horror. Poor woman. The Creature Walks Among Us. A scientist captures a creature and turns him into an air breather, only for him to escape and start killing. Don't mess with the creature. The Creature Walks Among Us. Remember? The Creature from the Black Lagoon. The Creature Returns. Now the Creature Walks Among Us. X, the Unknown. A radioactive mud-like creature terrorizes a Scottish village. It kills. It cannot be killed. It rises from 200 miles beneath the earth to melt everything in its path. X, the Unknown. This movie was scary and sci-fi. Those are the horror movies that we loved of 1956. Were there any movies I left out? Let me know. Did you see any of these movies of 1956? Let me know. You're watching Yesteryear, and today, click subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm Tony. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, leave them below. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next video.